Hello and welcome to the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold and we're going to be having an hours-long bulletin, so do sit tight and we'll now give you the news in detail. Residents are set to benefit from a 5-year Greater Metropolitan Kampala Area Urban Development Program worth 286 billion shillings for infrastructure development. This announcement was made by the Minister of Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Hajjatimisa Kabanda, during the stakeholders meeting with municipal leaders. Details in this report.
The government has unveiled plans to build and develop infrastructure in Chira Municipality and Wakiso District at a cost of 286 billion shillings. This initiative aims to improve the road network, drainage system and markets.
This is your project, this is your baby. As politicians, we should all have this project and we should understand it and explain it to our nigger. Because for them, they don't know what is taking place. Even if you don't support government, but support this project, because it's your project, it's our project, it's our baby. Everybody should love the project. Because people are going to ask you, come 2026, yes, you're a councillor, what have you done for us?
Notable roads to be constructed include Kunguchanja, Bulindo Najera, and the Kamuli Bethany Nalia Main Road, which will be a dual carriageway. The program, funded by the World Bank through the Office of the President, also includes the development of Namugongo Market along Kampala Jinja Highway to boost economic growth. During the stakeholder engagement at Chira municipal offices, Minister Kabanda announced that construction of these access roads will start this month, with the contracts already awarded.
The Kinabe municipality is a beneficiary of many roads in this program. And I'm informed that the first phase will see the construction of Kongo, Chanja Road, Mogo Road, and Bishop Superior Road. That is the first phase. The program will spend 185 billion Uganda shillings on Chira municipality, and we will all look forward to the launch of the program. And just under supervision, you supervise. My request is, as politicians, close to the people. We expect you to do the following. Embrace the program, like I'm saying it now. At least you have embraced the program. Sensitize the people about this program. Be eyes-on to supervise the program. Faith, amongst other female politicians, to take a call. Kubala technical people. The technical people. You always frustrate our programs. Technical people, let them do their work, but eyes on.
Deputy Mayor of Chira Municipality, Rashida Nanyonga Musoke, stated that these developments will help reduce traffic congestion in the area and revamp the dilapidated road network. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
The International Telecommunication Union has warned Uganda against corruption and delays in projects funded by the global telecommunication body. The director of the Telecommunication Development Bureau, Dr. Cosmas Zavazava, emphasized that the ITU has invested $1.9 million in Uganda's ICT development and expects timely completion and proper use of these funds. He made these remarks at the Uganda ICT Hub in Nakawa, Kampala, while inspecting project updates.
The Director of Telecommunication Development Bureau, Dr. Cosmas Zavazava, while in Uganda recently stated that the ITU has invested $1.9 million in Uganda's ICT development, including improvements in internet access, digital skills, and ICT infrastructure. He urged Uganda to avoid corruption, emphasizing that all project funds will be closely monitored.
I was so pleased, and I think you went way too far by giving us so much details about what we are doing with the money. That we have a team in Geneva which is responsible for monitoring and evaluation, and we do to the last shilling family uses that language. We know exactly. And this particular project, I will say it in the presence of PS and also ED.
Dr. Zavazava warned against delays, stating that the project should be completed by December 2024, the set deadline.
We don't want to delay projects. This project is ending in December 2024, and we are concerned.
However, he commended the Ministry of ICT for establishing the ICT hub in Nakawa and other regional ICT centers, pledging continued support for ICT growth in Uganda.
Plans, we have got a lot of initiatives, and as you have seen, during the Global Symposium for Regulators, we launched a broadband mapping, infrastructure mapping project. UCC and the ministry and government and the peoples of Uganda will benefit tremendously from it. We want to promote universal, meaningful, affordable connectivity. Capacity building is a priority since we are here at this institute. We wanted to make sure that the skills, the digital skills, are available.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of ICT, Amina Zawade, defended the projects, assuring that they are on course with no issues.
Necessarily not had project delays in terms of performance. Yes, the project is going to end in December 2024, and that was the timeline that we have had. However, due to some of the challenges of maybe delays in disbursements of funds, delays in some agreements we have to come up with, that we thought would bring up, some of these delays. But because this has been brought to the attention of the team as they have visited, we are going to make sure that we accelerate the implementation of this project. And
the ITU is a global UN agency overseeing ICT activities, including television and radio broadcasts, with 193 member states, including Uganda. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
The State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, has emphasized the importance of strong bilateral ties between Uganda and Rwanda. This was during the 30th Rwandan Liberation Anniversary celebrations hosted by Rwanda's High Commissioner to Uganda, Colonel Joseph Rutabana, at his residence in Kololo.
Rwandans residing in Uganda, along with well-wishers and members of the diplomatic corps, commemorated the 30th anniversary of Rwanda's liberation at an event hosted at the High Commissioner's residence in Kororo. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, offered his congratulations to the Rwandan people on their achievements and progress towards prosperity. He acknowledged the country's challenging past, but focused on the positive developments Rwanda has made.
Rwanda's economy has remained resilient, adaptable, despite challenging external domestic factors, achieving a high economic growth rate, which development in services sector, industrial sector, and other areas.
He further emphasized the cordial relations between Uganda and Rwanda.
Let all doubters be warned that no amount of misunderstanding or differences between Rwanda and Uganda are lasting and cannot in any form or shape shake our relationship, crack our relationship, or even shift our relationship by a millimeter.
Rwanda's High Commissioner to Uganda, Colonel Joseph Rutabana, spoke of his nation's remarkable journey of renewal and development.
This journey has been long and difficult, but thanks to the able and transformational leadership, which chartered a clear and shared vision with inclusive policies and equal opportunities to all, considerable achievements have been made.
Rutabana also provided information to Rwandans living in Uganda about opportunities to participate in their nation's upcoming elections.
Our country will have legislative and presidential elections this month on the 15th, and for the Rwandans in diaspora, this exercise will take place on Sunday the 14th, and will also be carried out in our High Commission here in Kampala.
The Minister of State for Works, Musa Echweru, has cautioned politicians against politicizing issues related to the ongoing Karuma Bridge refurbishment works. Echweru urged politicians to recognize government's efforts to repair and reinstate the bridge for public use. He was launching the refurbishment works for Karuma Bridge in Chiriandongo district, as these details share with us.
And on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on behalf of the people of Uganda, I want to flag off the repair of Karuma Bridge. Amen.
The Minister of State for Works, Musa Echweru, has launched the refurbishment works for Karuma Bridge, expected to last at least 3 months.
Now they are going to start repair of the bridge immediately. We are giving them 3 months to repair this bridge, and the assessment is that by the time they finish, this bridge should be able to withstand the traffic on this road for at least more than 10 to 15 years when we are having a good bridge. The truth is that we wanted to go through the process. So I want to discourage some of my politicians from mixing things that are political with the things that are technical.
Echweru says government is working hard to ensure that the glue route through Karuma Bridge starts operating as soon as possible.
The government of Uganda, working with our partners from Japan under the JICA development arm of Japan, are working on a bridge that is going to be modern, that is going to be properly aligned to the topography of this place, and we are very sure that that should be coming in the next few months or a year. I will also be returning here to do the groundbreaking for that bridge while this one will be working. Across Masindi Port to Apache, that bridge, everything is now, even resources have been found for that bridge. We're also going to do a bridge from Adjumani to Laropi on the other side of Moyo. So these 3 bridges are critical. They will open this part of the country to facilitate trade and to make it easier for our people.
The minister also directed the Uganda National Roads Authority to be vigilant and to scout and fix potholes in the roads to avoid accidents.
From Kiriadongo, from Karuma here, all the way to Nakasongola, I have witnessed the road is still very smooth. The lifespan of the road is still there, but there are some potholes that have developed in the middle of the road, and they pose a big danger.
The Member of Parliament for Kole, Judith Aliek, and Amos Alot, representing Agago, applauded government for responding to the cries of the people who use this bridge.
I'm happy that government has considered Karuma Bridge as an emergency. And being an emergency, it means life should not be lost on this bridge.
Our request is, please let us cooperate, let us be tolerant so that this work should come to the end.
Local leaders who are present expressed their expectations after the refurbishment of the Karuma Bridge.
This is the gateway bridge to the greater northern Uganda. We are so grateful. We thank government for this great work. There should therefore be serious work done according to time.
Chain Railway 7th Group Contractors and National Enterprise Corporation are the companies contracted to carry out the refurbishment works.
Our duty is to make sure that we do the quality work as we put it in the contract. We as well expect to do this work within the agreed time frame and observing all the quality levels that have been put into the contract.
Government is expected to spend at least 7 billion shillings on this Karuma Bridge project. Dorcas Kimono and Kenneth Tanaba, UBC News.
The World Wildlife Fund for Nature, in conjunction with the National Forestry Authority, has restored over 1,000 degraded forests and wetlands in the major central forest reserves of Kangombe, Bugoma and Budongo in the Bunyoro sub-region. Philip Chihumuro, the WWF Forest Restoration and Carbon Absorption Manager for the Bunyoro region, disclosed that at least 2,500 acres of forests have been recovered through tree planting campaigns and the establishment of collaborative forest management committees, as these details share with us.
The National Forestry Authority's sector manager, Richard Chalisima, mentioned that despite challenges posed by court orders on evictions, in the Kangombe Forest Reserves, over 1,000 hectares have been restored and forest boundaries have been established.
We have so far restored an acreage amounting to 1,126 hectares of formerly degraded forest in partnership with the National Forest Authority.
The Buyanja East County MP, Dr. Emily Kugonza, while officiating at the commemoration of a belated World Environmental Day at Kayanja Primary School in Kibale District, underscored the importance of forests and wetlands. He also expressed concern over human-wildlife conflict, where chimpanzees have continuously destroyed people's gardens and killed people, mostly children.
Actually, they are even to the extent of uprooting cassava now. They are even eating grain, maize grain that is dry, and that is threatening the livelihood of our population. Now, meaning that actually we really need to look at reviewing the laws. For example, yes, we don't want people to go to the national, the central forest reserves that are already established, but these are harboring vermins, as we call them. When they come to attack the gardens of the farmers, what does government do? Now, for now, we have seen the law in the Uganda Wildlife Authority. The compensation is on the destruction by these other animals on the people along the paths.
The belated World Environmental Day commemoration in Kibale was celebrated under the theme Restoring Degraded Forests and Wetlands. The event featured tree planting, exhibitions and traditional dances. Andrew Musinguzi, Benon Mukwaya for UBC.
Regional cities and municipalities implementing World Bank-funded urban infrastructure projects have been granted a 3-week extension until the end of July for project completion. The State Minister for Urban Development, Obiga Kania, says that the deadlines, which have been extended twice since December 2023, aim to ensure a smooth exit from road projects. The World Bank funded the Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development program at a cost of $510 million over the past 10 years.
A program technical committee meeting that brought together 33 local governments across the country that are implementing the municipality roads funded by the World Bank has been held in Jinja City. State Minister for Urban Development, Obiga Kania, has stressed that a further 3 weeks extension provided for the cities and municipalities implementing their road projects are aimed at ensuring a smooth transition.
This project closed on the 31st of December 2023, and by the grace of the World Bank, 30th June 2024 was an extension, isn't it? So how many more extensions are we asking? I have not given you one more extension, 1 month's extension. We must close. We cannot keep extending.
Highlights of a 2-day conference touched on the performance of the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development Program, USMID, across the implementing local governments, including maintenance strategies.
What I know is finally you are responsible for what happens. You can't run away from it. Now, after 10 years, we have an experience of who are good contractors and who are not good contractors. We expect that in the future, should there be a future, and if you want the future to come to your area, you must not select people who have bad records.
Some of the regional cities, such as Jinja, say they are looking to the just released national census data that has placed Jinja's population at close to 400,000 residents and thus elevation in further sharing of resources for infrastructure projects.
They say that Jinja then had a very small population in the night. And remember, when these guys are making the assessment, they base on that population. So right now, as I speak, after the census, it is now giving us a bigger number of people living in Jinja. I think if we got another program, Jinja would be in position to get enough funds to work on a bigger, at least on a bigger area of our road network.
All the 10 regional cities and 22 municipalities, among other refugee hosting districts, are looking to a new line of funding from the World Bank to scale up urban and rural community projects. Vincent Wamondo compiled this report for UBC.
Now, an Assistant Commissioner for Private Schools and Institutions at the Ministry of Education and Sports, George Mutekanga, has asked parents to feed their children while at school. He was presiding over the Greater Luwero Secondary School Science and Mathematics Teachers Center annual general meeting held at Luwero Diocese Guest House in Luwero District.
The Assistant Commissioner for Private Schools and Institutions at the Ministry of Education and Sports, George Mutekanga, says parents should always provide food to their children while at school. Mutekanga highlighted the importance of teaching science with special emphasis on practical and applicable agriculture sciences for job creation, national food independence.
Why science? Why now? We are talking of we have the youngest population in this country which has gone to school because of US and UPE, but unfortunately they are unemployed. So one way of employing this young generation is to ensure that they can have practical and hands-on activities.
The chairman of Greater Luwero Region CESMAT Center for a new 3-year renewable term, Senkungu Balaba, promised to promote a mindset change on studying sciences.
We would like to call our colleagues who are within the profession to come together so that we can be able to prepare the next generation. Prepare it well so that it fits in the modern way of doing things. This started as CESMAT limiting science, education and mathematics. So it was limited at that level. But today, as we talk, they have moved into STEM, they have widened it.
Former chairman, Greater Luwero Region CESMAT Center, Canon Dr. Charles Kahigiriza, explained that the prioritized of teaching of science and mathematics has improved performance in national exams.
For a number of years, consecutive years, Luwero has been the 4th in the ranking as far as UC O-level performance is concerned. So this is partly attributed to the activities of CESMAT.
Luwero DEO Florence Bosasi Sechitoleko urged Greater Luwero schools with boarding sections to refurbish their facilities to avoid closure.
Have you seen the new guidelines for boarding section? Can you prepare yourselves before the desk people come in? For those of you who can request for the permission, please do. We are in the second phase. You have had them moving around. Have you had them? Have you had them close boarding sections? I don't want it to happen in our 3 districts.
Some educationists present called for the deepening of CESMAT programs, participation by all schools in the region.
Bring all schools on board, whether the school started yesterday, bring it on board, such that we have a list of schools.
CESMAT was initially a JICA, or Government of Japan, initiated project meant to systematically reform and improve the teaching of sciences and mathematics in Ugandan schools.
The Uganda National Oil Company UNOC is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has 2 subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanye eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable. Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back from that break. We now take you into more news stories. Now, with the need to see peace between Israel and Gaza following the war that started last year until then, Ugandans have convened in a Love Israel Prayer Summit. The summit, organized at Cornerstone New City Church in Bwebaja, was graced by the State Minister for Industry and Cooperatives, David Bahati, who lauded the initiative of praying for peace in Israel.
Cornerstone New City Church has organized today's summit aimed at praying for peace in Israel and Palestine in the ongoing war on Gaza. Since the war started, this has seen numerous deaths, leaving some homeless among other effects. Although numerous interventions have been made to calm the situation at hand, all has been in vain as the war continues. The summit was graced by the State Minister for Industry and Cooperatives, David Bahati.
It's an important meeting for pastors to pray for Israel, pray for the situation which is happening in Israel as a country. We want to pray for peace, that we want to see peace in Israel and in that region. So it's our prayer.
However, Minister Bahati was not hesitant to urge them to embrace government programs aimed at changing their livelihoods.
You are the light of our country. So when we hear some more issues in our country, we expect you to be our moral compass. So as pastors and men and women of God, to be the salt of our country. And also want to request you to continue working with us as government to transform our society.
Bishop Daniel Okisa The leader Cornerstone New City Church says since all initiatives have failed to address the situation between Israel and Gaza, it's now time to cry to God's mercy to intervene.
And Uganda and Israel have a long way coming. History has it that when Israel had no home, Uganda was the only country that opened its doors to Israel, that you can come and share what we have. Of recent, when Israel was taken to the ICC, it was a Ugandan judge, the only Ugandan judge that stood to say, no, we have to stand with Israel. So Uganda has a love for Israel that is divine. And we are praying for our leaders, we are praying for the church, we are praying for the nation to stand with Israel and never to be ashamed.
In attendance was Reverend Bishop Dennis Othumbi, the African Director, Israel Alliance Foundation, who explained the reasons why Uganda has to pray for peace in Israel.
Replacement theory, which is taught in churches, has really misplaced the nation of Israel. Is the comparison that Israel means the church, which is erroneous. The nation of Israel is central to the call and the cause of God. The nation of Israel is central to the fact that God chose that nation. It's very important for us to teach the truth on the identity of Israel and the destiny of Israel and how that works towards the clockwork of the returning of the Messiah.
We believe that this is the time for Africa. We believe God has a calling on Africa to stand up for righteousness in the world, particularly when it comes to Israel. And being in Uganda is such a joy and blessing and honor. I don't know, when God gives you love for something, it goes beyond reason. And God has given me...
The summit that started yesterday was concluded Saturday. Deborah Namamonde, Mike Bakabulindi, UBC News.
The Paramount Chief-elect Dr. Moses Michael Odongo Kune has vowed to go to court as a means of resolving conflicts between the two warring cultures, leaderships of Lango. The One Nyachi-elect addressed a special council meeting held to implement one of the two pieces of advice from President Museveni to end the leadership conflict in Lango. Details in this report.
These were clan heads who subscribed to the Lango Cultural Institution, registering to attend a special council meeting held on Friday, which should have been attended by clan heads from both factions, aimed at restoring peace and unity amongst them. In his submission to the council, the Wanyashi-elect vowed not to seek the court's indulgence in solving conflicts in the chiefdom. According to him, cultural disputes must be handled culturally by elders, not in court. President Museveni recently asked the two leadership factions of Lango Cultural Institution under engineer Moses Michael Odongo Kune, the Wanyashi-elect, and the Lango Cultural Foundation under Mzee Yosam Odure B, the city Wanyashi, to try to resolve the conflicts between them. However, after listening to both sides, he advised the two groups to either reconcile on their own or seek redress from the court. The Lango Cultural Institution Speaker Willie Omodomodo informed their subjects about invitations sent to the leadership of the other factions to According to him, nothing is taking them to court because the leader, Engineer Odongo Kune, is legally recognized by the government as it is in the Gazette. Other clan leaders advocated for peace and reconciliation, saying Lao must unite for development to come. There has been a sharp division among cultural leaders in Lao over leadership disputes. A section of clan leaders boycotted the March 1st election in which Dr. Engineer Moses Odong Kune was elected to replace the retiring Mzee Yosamudure B. The group is organizing another election in November, contrary to the decision of the majority of clan leaders.
Years since the decentralization policy was introduced in Uganda in the year 1993, the main objective was to empower people, democratize the state power, and facilitate modernization of communities. The extent to which the policy has lived to its billing is what we are delving into as we interrogate whether Uganda still needs a new district.
New districts have been created and urban centers have been elevated. Some from town councils to municipalities, and others from municipalities to cities.
On 1st July 2020, Arua City, Gulu City.
Right Honorable Speaker, Kamgopa Mena Nasio, Woman MP Budaka, I vote yes.
As I wait for Kasese Industrial and Mineral City, Madam Speaker, allow me to vote yes.
It has all been part of decentralization, something that has seen political players differ at some point.
Madam Speaker, we had to borrow 600 million euros to finance our budget for this financial year. I vote no.
Others have spoken with one voice.
That signifies victory and happiness, celebration. We are very happy.
You know, if it comes on development, as leaders from northern Uganda, we all tow the same line.
All in the name of bringing services closer and promoting development. Prior to 1993, Uganda was a highly centralized state with decision-making power concentrated in the capital city. However, this led to disparities in development and service delivery across the country. In 1993, the government launched the decentralization policy aimed at transferring power and resources to local governments. This marked a significant shift in Uganda's governance structure.
Yeah, decentralization policy was a good initiative by the government in that it took services closer to the people, but also ensured that the people are involved in the governance of their affairs, other than the center handling everything from here at the center.
Today, decentralization has improved service delivery, increased community participation, and enhanced local economic development. John Musila is a former chairperson for Namisindwa District Local Government. He has been face to face with decentralization, and his experience is worth sharing.
The 3 Ds, decongestion, decentralization, and the higher side, devolution. 97, even the law, the Decentralization Act, we began very well.
This has not just been on a smooth highway. There have been obstacles and speed bumps. One of them has been decentralized corruption.
Procurement of contracts, all the offices within the district, it have to be owned. We have seen challenges of corruption in the district service commission. Most people cannot get jobs even where there are vacancies and people have the qualification because they have to pay for these jobs. Members of the district service commission, also the technical people who actually do the shortlisting. So in a way, we have decentralized corruption.
As chairman, LC5 formerly, I've superintended of a budget of around, on average, 30 billion per financial year. But the bulk of that budget, actually over 80%, is recurrent, salaries and whatever, and allowances. Now, development is given a very little package at that level.
As the country continues to evolve, the importance of decentralization is equally projected to continue growing. But there is something that can be benchmarked from other countries, including Kenya, Uganda's sovereign neighbor.
The Kenyans in the 60s called it Majimbo. They wanted to begin Majimbo. They have just copied from Uganda about 15 years ago, but they have gone full blast. Devolution, the last D. Not decongestion, not decentralization, full devolution. That would have been the way. And this is what we have advocated for. Even if it is under a regional tire, that would be the best way. So that most of all these functions of government are fully developed to those areas.
Every time a new local government administrative unit has been created in Uganda, 1 or 2 political positions have been created too. The demand for the same has also continued.
But for any new administrative unit, it is time for us to say no. To threaten government that when you eat a rat, the government will quickly create for you an administrative unit without even looking into the costs.
From lower local government to district level, all the way to national leaders originating from districts, the question that remains unanswered is whether Uganda still needs a new district or even a city.
The president or parliament is not going to say, I've given you by force. No. It is through demand. The people demand because of several factors. But my only caution would be, we would give an issue of the bar, the population say of 200 or 300, that will be okay.
I oppose the creation of cities because there was no legal framework in place. But also the districts where these cities were being created, there was not adequate enough policy guidance and arrangement. And you can see today in some districts, when you go to these cities, the districts are still occupying the same offices in the same locality. So have we actually created cities to function alongside the other districts? They are actually operational issues.
Decentralization has come a long way in Uganda, transforming lives in millions of numbers. The successes and lessons learned could play a vital role in shaping the country's future. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Hi, my name is Rachel Ndubuchiri and I am a Ugandan actress and the winner of the Africa Monologue Challenge 2023. Now, thanks to your immense support, the Africa Monologue Challenge Season 2 is coming to Uganda between July 25th and August 20th. Africa Monologue Challenge is looking for passionate Ugandan storytellers to take part in a Pan-African short film that will showcase Uganda to the rest of the world. To be a part of this, all you have to do is weave a captivating narrative that captures Uganda's cultural heritage while fostering connections between 10 diverse individuals from 10 African countries. This short film will be shared to over 50 film festivals. Now, to find information on the AMC 2024 finalists, visit www.africamonologue.com. Please submit your short script, which should be 10 pages for a short film between 10 to 15 minutes, to africamonologue@gmail.com before 30th June 2024. Now, let's talk about rewards. The selected script will have the writer's full name in the end credits. You will get a chance to collaborate with amazing filmmakers from all over the world. You will get a small token for your creativity, and you remain with full ownership of your script. Let's work together to create a Pan-African film that will echo African stories throughout the world.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. We'll now take you into the world of business. The Special Envoy of the Chairperson of the African Union Commission on Women, Peace and Security, Bineta Diop, has called for advocacy to improve women's access to land and credit to enable their engagement in agriculture. She made these remarks at the launch of the Empowering Women in Agriculture program, Uganda chapter, funded by and led by the Institute of Social Transformation in partnership with the Action Against Hunger to Curb Food Scarcity.
Food insecurity, hunger and famine remain significant challenges among families. However, even though many people wish to grow and cultivate their own food, access to land remains a puzzle for many, especially women, due to various reasons, including traditional practices and stereotypes.
The religious traditional leaders of some time in our country are the ones who have the land, not just the government. For women to have access to land, we need to have that advocacy at the grassroots level.
Lack of access to financial support prevents many from practicing agriculture as they wish to access loans and credit schemes.
Access to credit. In some countries already, we have put in place, credit scheme for women who are in the agribusiness.
The Institute for Social Transformation and Action Against Hunger have launched the Empowering Women in Agriculture program Uganda chapter to bring stakeholders together to support agriculture and avert these challenges. Research shows that women contribute largely to agriculture, while many mostly get involved during harvests. A narrative Rita Kabanyoro, the country director of Action Against Hunger challenges.
This initiative mainly focuses on identifying a value chain, an agricultural value chain, and positioning women at every step of this value chain. If we say we want Ugandan women to be known for cassava, we want to have a woman in the production, a woman in the post-harvest, a woman in the value addition phase. In some of the communities, for example, in refugee settlements, we've set up farmers groups that are purely women. And because the women earlier were complaining and saying, when we harvest and when we earn money from agriculture activities, the men, our husbands, are tipped off and they take the money from us. And we are saying, can we set up an entire process of value chain that is led by women?
Despite harvests, many homes still face food scarcity, which Dr. Victoria Sachitoleko attributes to a lack of food storage facilities, calling for the adoption of silos.
The fact that we no longer have food reserves, that is one. Two, like you had, the Teso people used to grow cassava which could stay in the ground for 2 years. Now, with research, they can produce more cassava in a shorter time, but that cassava has to be processed very quickly. Unfortunately, we have not yet moved with the times, so that if you can produce it very quickly and it is a lot, you can process it and store it so that you can eat it later.
Iwagu, the executive director of the Institute for Social Transformation, believes that emphasizing the revival of traditional foods will address food scarcity.
The program basically is focusing on organizing women farmers
on a value chain that we have identified, which is cassava and millet, and we are going to go to the last mile woman, building their capacities in line with the technologies, the modern technologies, which is in line with which will facilitate their production, increasing their production.
Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries pledged the government's commitment to empowering women.
What they call the matching grant, which is being supported to the farmer organizations and individuals. This matching grant is a contribution to the farmer by government, and the farmer has to give a hand by providing what is called a subsidy, providing a percentage of some of the money of the inputs and the resources which are supplied on a subsidy approach for sustainability and ownership of the farming interventions.
The program is a countrywide initiative to support women in agriculture. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Faith, love, miracles! Did you miss the recent Sifan Crusades? Don't worry, Christ for All Nations bring you 7 crusades closer to you. Powerful divine deliverance from bondages, yokes and curses, salvation of souls, family restorations and miraculous healings. Don't miss Kampala Nubaga District, Tororo, Pabo, Kaliro, Masindi, Soroti and Bidibidi Refugee Camp Crusades from June 24th to July 15th, 2024. Come and receive your miracle.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. Now, the Youth and Children Affairs Minister Balam Barugahara is currently in Norway, where he is representing Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the president of Uganda, at the Uganda Cranes European Tournament in Oslo. He also has been impressed by efforts to promote unity among Ugandans, especially those living in the diaspora. During the 3-day tour of duty, Balam will launch the issuance of passports and national IDs to Ugandans living abroad.
I want to thank our diaspora community, our ambassador in Denmark, and the team from Brussels and Berlin, with different teams who have traveled all the way to come and participate in this year's Uganda Cranes European Tournament. We are also here in Norway, Oslo today, to launch a registration exercise of both national ID and passport. And we are appealing to all Ugandans to get these services. We have put a machine at our embassy in Berlin, and we have a machine at Brussels. Please walk to the embassy and get your national ID so that you can be able to invest back home. I'm using this same trip to encourage Ugandans in diaspora to identify likely investors who can invest in Uganda. We are giving tax holidays to big investors who can come and set up factories in Uganda so that we reduce on exporting our raw material. So those are the assignments the president has given me, and I will be in the Scandinavia or Nordic country for the next 3 days. Looking forward to getting positive feedback and also getting results from my visit. I want to upload all the teams from Netherlands, from Denmark, from Norway, from Germany, from even today they got a new team, Team USA. This team playing now. This is Team USA, Team Finland. I want to thank you guys for coming together and forming this tournament. And it's a tournament not based on political affiliation. It is a tournament that brings together all members of the other political groups. There is no discrimination at this tournament. So all groups are here, and I think this is what we need as a country, Uganda. We need to work together as Ugandans, and we focus on building our talents. 2, knowing each other. 3, sharing ideas on how best to work. 4, knowing what programs are available for Ugandans in the diaspora and how can you be assisted. Then 5, knowing that it is your right to have an identity card, it is your right to have a passport. So reach out to the High Commissioner or to the ambassador, wherever you are based, so that you get these services. These services are express and everything is done on time. So kindly don't be left out. Thank you. I'm a proud Ugandan, and I encourage you, each one of you, to love your country and love your country wherever you are. Be ambassadors of your country. That is the message. Respect President Museveni.
Yes, and back from Norway, we bring you back here in UBC TV to say thank you for joining us for this 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Markanold, and thanks to the team behind the scenes, we say good night.
Look at the weather report tonight. My name is Molin Kenyana. Now we've had mostly a chilly day for much of Uganda. We did start off with rains for much of central and also most areas within the northern part, eastern Uganda. Again, as we crossed over into the afternoon, more of those rains were coming through, and that kept temperatures down for the rest of Uganda. Looking at our satellite analysis, we still have those moist southeasterly winds that are coming in from the Indian Ocean towards our country. That is enhancing wet weather activities, especially for the eastern stretch. At the same time, we also have the Congo air mass that is moving in towards our country. Now that is also bringing rains, especially for the parts of western Uganda, also for northern Uganda. At the same time, we do have local effects that do enhance these wet weather activities for this time of the year. Now, looking at tomorrow's weather forecast, we're likely to start off with rains for the central and western parts of Lake Victoria Basin, but much of central Uganda will start off with a mix of clouds and sunshine. And looking at the eastern area, we do expect light rains for those regions, especially close to Lake Victoria, but much of the eastern part we start off with sunny intervals. Now, the western stretch, we do expect to have mostly a mix of clouds and sunshine. And crossing over onto the north, we do expect a rainy morning for the Karamoja region. The rest of the northern region will start off with sunny intervals. Well, as we cross over into the afternoon, we start to see more rains developing for central Uganda, in temperatures will be going from 28 to 29 degrees. And looking at also the eastern part of the country, we do see more rains coming through, especially over Soroti and the rest of the region, with temperatures in 29 degrees centigrade. And also for the western stretch, we'll see rains developing for Midwestern and also the Rwenzori region. Quite a warm day for the Rwenzori region, even with those rains. We're looking at 31 for Kasese. And crossing over onto the north, we'll see mostly rainy conditions for the entire region, and temperatures also in the upper 20s. Crossing over to some of the areas we have for you beyond Uganda, we are forecasting a sunny day for Cairo, and also sunny intervals are forecast for Dubai, but still very hot weather over there at 41 degrees, and a chilly day is forecast for Nairobi with 23 degrees. That brings us to the end of tonight's weather report. Thank you so much for joining us.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.